Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to my review of My Hero Academia, chapter 237. And my God, we do have a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to talk about. Okay, so this chapter, um, this chapter just gives us more insight into Shigaraki's backstory. And basically, what happens is, the things we found out about Shigaraki just these past few chapters just keeps getting more and more interesting. I mean, we even have moments where, like right after he killed his family. We see him walking down the street, and you know he's looking around, he's looking at all the people around him, and he's just like in his head, the president, Shigaraki the president is just, he's telling us, the audience, he's wondering, like, and in the same way it does kind of ask the question of, it's almost like Horikoshi is asking us, the audience, like, what do you think would have happened if anyone other than All For One reached out his hand or reached out their hand and offered help. He even asked, like, if just someone, anyone, like, offered their help to him. But we even see in this chapter that the second people take a look at him, they're just terrified. I mean, even one woman in general, um, she takes one look at him and is just, she says, no, 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 don't worry, don't worry. I'm sure someone, like, maybe from the police or a hero, would show up. And that's the thing. I mean, that in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, you do wonder, like, it does kind of ask the question, like, what would you do if you were in that position? Like, you see a lost kid, and instead of just offering your help, you just tell them, "Hey, look, don't worry, just stay there. I'm sure a police officer would show up and they'll help you." And again, that in itself isn't a bad thing, but you have to think about what the you have to think about it from the kid's perspective. Like, what would he think? He's been lost, just wandering the streets for God knows how long, and then the second someone interacts with him, instead of offering their help, they just said, "Well, just go. We'll just wait for someone else." They have to do more of what they've already been doing, which is waiting for someone else to help, and it does make you wonder, like, what would have happened if, just someone, anyone. I mean, it could have completely changed Shigaraki's life. If someone else had reached out their hand instead of All For One, but that's not what happened. All For One reached out his hand. I mean, it's just, and I mean, we all know what happened after All For One reached out. Also, after All For One helped him. I mean, he took him in, and he basically nurtured his, like, need to just see people die. I mean, we find out in this chapter and in the previous chapter that whenever Shigaraki has that itch, that constant itch that you've seen him doing ever since we've first been introduced to that character, um, you've always been wondering, like, why the hell does he keep scratching? Does he keep scratching himself? And in this chapter and in the last chapter before this, we found out why. It's because whenever there's something that irritates him, that itch never goes away until he sees that thing get destroyed. And it does make you what. And when All For One found him, like, he's basically telling him, like, look, if there's something you want to see done, if there's something that bothers you, I mean, you basically just don't hold it in. Just do whatever you can to get rid of it. And he's basically telling him, like, look, don't be afraid of your power. Like, never be afraid of your power, or else it's just going to make you miserable. And if you think about it, that in itself, as advice, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, if you think about it, it's almost kind of like telling someone, look, at the end of the day, if there's something you want to do, you should do it. But you also have to think about what that thing is that you want to do. You also have to think about the consequences. And the thing is, here, All for One didn't really tell Shigaraki about the consequences. Like, it, it's just. I mean, I'm telling you, like, this just keeps getting more and more interesting. Like, we are learning so much more about Shigaraki and like his mindset. Like ever since he's a kid. And by the way, Shigaraki says something that is just so much more interesting. And I don't know if maybe people are going to skip this, but there is a panel where let me see if I can find it. And he says something that, okay, here it is. I found it. And basically, what he says is when he when he does what he does, when he kills like someone, like he even says he feels sick to the point where he's gonna throw up. Like there's a part of him that doesn't feel good about what he's doing. Like he hates it, but at the same time, it makes him confused because at the same time as he feels sick, he also feels calm, and that in itself, like you have to wonder I mean, what's it like to be in that kind of mindset when you do something that you know is making you sick, that to the point where you just don't want to do it, but at the same time, it gives you this overwhelming sense of calm, and he knows that basically killing people, like he knows it's bad. He doesn't want to do it. It makes him feel sick, but it also gives him this sense of calm, and it makes the itch go away, like this itch that keeps bothering him to the point where it drives him crazy, and the only way to get rid of it is to kill someone, is to basically do something that makes him sick. And that to me, I just thought that was so interesting. And the entire time, All for One is just telling him like, look, um, if there's something that you need to do to make you feel good, then you need to do it. Damn the consequences. And that to me is just. And by the way, you know that All for One is just like he doesn't give a crap about Shigaraki. He's just using him. He's trying to turn him into, like, he even says it. He'll be the next like symbol of fear, kind of like he was back in the heyday of back when quirks were sort of first becoming a thing, and he was basically like this symbol. I mean, even All Might said it to Deku, that he was basically this thing that everyone was afraid of. I mean, and now he's trying to turn Shigaraki into that. So, and by the way, speaking of All for One, I mean, we just got some information that, holy shit. I mean, holy shit. I did not expect it. So, in this chapter, like, it's also revealed that All for One is the one who gave Shigaraki his name. He's the one who named him Tomura Shigaraki. And he's even asking him, because we know that Shigaraki, his real name is Tenko Shimura. We find out that he's the the previous holder of One for All. Before All Might, he's her grandson. His real name is Tenko Shimura, and like, and again, that just shows you how twisted this guy is. I mean, he knew from the beginning that he was Shimura's grandson, All Might's predecessor, his mentor, and he purposely took him and turned him into this because he knew that it would fuck with All Might, and that to me is just like, Christ. And again, he's basically manipulating Shigaraki into thinking that he actually cares for him, that he's doing this all for him. But again, he's not doing this for him. He's not doing this for anyone. He's doing this for himself. again, everything he does, I think, is at least in my opinion, is just for himself. He doesn't give a crap about anyone else. Um, and we find out that like there's a meaning behind the name Tomura Shigaraki. The word Tomura is apparently it comes from the verb. According to this, it says from the verb tomura. It means basically roughly translated to mourn, like almost like he says, okay, that name is symbolic, like you are basically mourning your former self, like you're not Tenkoshimura anymore, you're Tomura Shigaraki. And then he asks him, and this is the big piece of information that Horikoshi just dropped onto our laps. Shigaraki, the reason why he gave him Shigaraki, the last name Shigaraki, was because that's All for One's last name. Like, I mean, holy shit, we just got like a big piece of information. Like, we now know, I mean, we don't know his first name, but we now know his last name. It's Shigaraki. And if you think about it, if his last name is Shigaraki, that means his younger brother, his name is also Shigaraki. Because remember, they're brothers. And so that does beg the question, and that does make me wonder, like in the future, like you know how Deku right now is sort of communicating with like his past, like the past wielders of all four, sort of like an avatar thing. It does make you wonder, like when he eventually gets to the original wielder of One for All, it does make you wonder, like what would how would Deku react when he finds out that his last name is Shigaraki, the same name as the his like main enemy, the villain. And it's just, and what if he reveals, like, yeah, All for One, like the sort of main villain, the one who pretty much helped put an end to All Might, like the symbol of peace. Yeah, like guess what? He shares the last name as this guy that you're about to fight, and it does make you interesting. Like, oh, by the way, did I don't know, maybe I missed this, but did All Might ever reveal to Deku who Shigaraki actually is? Like, does Deku know who he is in reality? Does he know that Tomura Shigaraki isn't his real name? I mean, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's ever been revealed, but and like anyway, that's the big piece of information that we just got revealed. Wow. Anyway, the rest of the chapter is basically Shigaraki acknowledging that yeah, he's pretty much remembered everything, because up until this point he's pretty much kept like those memories sealed. And basically what happened is he realized that all of those people he killed, he didn't do it to like, he acknowledges now that he did it because he wanted to. He didn't do it because he was compelled, like because he was coming from an abusive family, because people around him kept betraying him like his sister did. No, it's because he deep down he wanted to kill those people. He just wants to to kill. Like, that's just, at the end of the day, that's just who he is. I mean, not like kill. I mean, like it's already been established. He only kills something that ends up bothering him. And unfortunately, the thing that bothers him now is basically the world, or the society that they're living in, where it's filled with heroes and villains. Like, he just doesn't like it, and he wants to take it down. And the rest of the chapter, it's basically like, okay, it's stuff we already know. It's basically like that big giant guy. I can't pronounce his name. Basically, he's tearing through everyone. He's on his way to Shigaraki, and everyone else thinks that like he's about to kill him. And Shigaraki, like the very last panel, he just feels like he's finally about to let loose. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe Horikoshi is setting something up, and I feel like we're about to see something crazy. And by the way, I hope that this doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see the end of Redestro, because I really like Redestro. I think he's an interesting villain. I really like him. His motivations isn't like simple. It's not too one dimensional. And I hope that this doesn't go like uh, like he while like the Redestra is gonna start fighting Shigaraki or the giant guy, and then eventually Shigaraki is gonna come in and he's gonna kill him from behind, or he's gonna kill both of them. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Horikoshi's not gonna let us down. I hope, and I hope we see. Actually, I hope we see more of the ice guy. I feel like he's gonna play a part in this. I feel like that the guy who's on Redestro's side who can like manipulate temperatures. I feel like he has sort of a part to play in this. I feel like we haven't really seen the end of him. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Those are my thoughts on the latest chapter of My Hero Academia. Again, this series just makes me love it. This chapter just it makes me love it more and more. Sorry about that. And I honestly can't wait to see where the story ends. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching my review. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about this chapter, where you think this series is going to go from here. Please hit that like button. Please share this video with anyone else who loves My Hero Academia as much as I do. Um, Let me know what they think, and please subscribe. And thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to see you guys in the next chapter review. Bye.